How's it going, guys? Welcome to day 3. We're going to get started here in about a minute. Thank you guys for joining us for day 3 of the new product showcase. We'll be going over some new Daiwa products today. If you guys missed the last 2 days, we have our rods and reels on the Daiwa product showcase website. So you guys can check out all the new products we're launching this year at daiwaproductshowcase.com. We have our YouTube videos. We also have our Facebook and Instagram that you can check out as well. If you guys have any questions for today, please go onto our YouTube channel, Daiwa USA. You can ask questions there. We will be live for about 30 minutes to an hour today going over some new products that we're launching. So if you guys have any questions, once again, please go to our Daiwa USA YouTube page. Alrighty, so with that, I'm going to introduce Mark Mills, and we're going to go ahead and get started here.
Good afternoon, Daiwa fans. Mark Mills here. I am the field marketing manager for Daiwa. Like Alex said, day 3 of the Daiwa new product showcase. On Wednesday, we got to go through all the cool reels. Yesterday, you got to see all the different rods that we actually make, and we are one of the leading rod manufacturers in the industry. Just so you guys know, we make and build almost every single one of our rods, not just wrap them, but we actually build the blanks and all that. So went through that. Today's going to be a really special day. We're actually going to go through all the terminal tackle and components. So we're going to go through some of the different fluorocarbon lines, the lures, some of the reel covers and accessories and stuff that we're introducing here in the 2021 season. Just to let you know, as you can see, we're going back and forth like we did the last couple days. We are still practicing social distancing, so you're going to see us come in and out of frame quite a bit. But with that being said, we're going to kind of start off here. We're going to get Alex right in front with the first product. Alex, come on in and kind of talk about the first sets of products.
Alrighty, guys. First new addition to the kind of lures line and accessories this year is going to be our new Samurai Fluorocarbon. So if you guys are familiar with our existing fluorocarbon, we offer a J Fluoro, which is more of a leader material. This is going to be more of a main line, good for the inshore and freshwater guys. So this is the new Samurai Fluorocarbon. It's going to come in both bulk and filler spools. So the filler spools are going to be 220-yard spools. One really cool thing about the filler spool is it has a halfway marker. So it actually has a sticker halfway in the spool. So you can fill up 2 reels with exactly 110 yards of line. Really nice thing that we did on the new Samurai Fluorocarbon filler spools. This will also be available in bulk spools. So we have these larger 1,000-yard bulk spools. Very nice. Both the filler spools and bulk spools are going to be parallel wound. Very high quality Japanese grade fluorocarbon. As far as price point, these are going to range anywhere from $20, $21 for the filler spools, all the way up to $159 for the larger bulk spools. And then as far as pound test, we're going to offer this in 2-pound all the way through 25-pound test. We do have some very unique sizes, 5-pound, 7-pound, 22-pound, some very unique sizes in the new Samurai Fluorocarbon. As far as availability, the new fluorocarbon is going to be available sometime near the end of July. But all around, just a really nice high-end fluorocarbon, super thin, super strong. You guys are definitely going to want to check out the new Samurai Fluorocarbon by Daiwa.
Oh, that's some great stuff, Alex. So now he just went through the new fluorocarbon that we're talking about, the Samurai. I'm going to go through some of the actual new lures that we're going to start to go and talk about here. Big for us right now is the new Jacana casting jig. If you can see it right there, I'll kind of slide it as close as I can to the camera so you guys can see this. This is a new Sakana Jig. What makes this thing really special is that what you're going to see here, and there's a lot of these casting jigs on the market. And I think pretty much everyone in the industry right now is using an eye that is actually vertical. If you look here, I'm going to put it as close as I can. That is a horizontal eye. It's going to swim completely different. You're going to get a more accurate, more traditional type swimming pattern with this than it just spinning around and doing weird stuff. So it really makes the jig fish better on that. We're using heavy grade split rings in the front, heavy grade split rings in the back, good hooks on there as well. This is going to come in, this is the largest size, so this is a 130. We'll even go all the way down to right here is a 20-gram jig. So 20, 130, numerous colors. We've got our three-dimensional eyes here, so it's a big 3D kind of a bubble eye. Looks very realistic, dark black, kind of stands out for the guys. It's going to come in about 8 different colors, so you're going to see all different traditional sizes and colors, very kind of live bait focused on this one. This one here is kind of a glow. You're going to see kind of a pink color as well. But like I said, good split rings, good VMC hooks, the Sakana Jig. Price point range is going to be from about $7.99 on the smaller sizes up to about $11.99 on the larger sizes. But if you fish this jig, you're going to see how much better this thing fishes than a lot of the other jigs out there. So the new Sakana Jig by Daiwa.
Alrighty, yeah, it's an exciting jig for us, Mark. We are adding another jig. It's going to be called the FK Jig, or the Fall Killer Jig. A little bit different than the Jacana Jig. This is a speed jig. It does come with this large single assist hook up off the top here. Cool thing about these assist hooks is it's actually a monofilament with a Kevlar sleeve. So it's going to be good for any tuna, any toothy critters, snapper, anything like that. It's going to hold up really well. These are available in a couple different sizes. We have 4 different colors, 6 different weights, and these are going to retail from $15.99 to $22.99. If you guys are looking to pick up the FK jigs, these are going to be available sometime late August. But all around, really good speed jig. We'll talk a little bit more later about the rods, some of the rods, the Harrier jigging rods that you can match it up with. But definitely check out the new FK jigs by Daiwa.
All right. As we brought in yesterday, we talked about a lot of the different rods, the new Harrier slow pitch rods. Well, this is a new jig called Mr. Slow by Daiwa. This is kind of a very different flat type jig. It's going to fall very slowly. It's going to catch a lot of water on the way down, as you can see, its edges and stuff like that. It's coming with very heavy duty VMC hooks. So you're going to see you got good hooks there, heavy duty split rings, big solid rings. You're also going to see that on these, if you look there real tight and see how stiff that line is, we're actually using Kevlar wrapped in fluorocarbon wrapped in Kevlar on the hooks. One, it's a strength issue. It gives a much stronger, more durable kind of a stinger hook action, but it also keeps the jig and the hooks from wrapping each other. So you're going to see that rigidity right there, and that's really going to help the bait swim better. It's not going to foul up, and it's going to work really well. It comes in 4 different colors, from 180. We do actually a 180, a 220, all the way up to a 260 size gram. So heavy ones here. This is right here, the 220. I see here. This is a 260, a little bit larger. Going to work really, really well for any of your deep jigs. Some of the Amberjack fishing on the East Coast. Out here, the guys fishing the giant bluefin tuna or big yellowfin tuna. It's going to work really good. MSRP is about $18.99 to $20.99, sorry, and it'll be around here about late October. You're gonna be able to see these things. But great jig, Mr. Slow by Daiwa, and it's gonna work really good with our like Harrier X rods or any type of kind of slow jigging technique.
Alrighty, next jig we're talking about here is the SL Jig, or the semi-long jig. If you can see here, it's a nice, long, skinny jig. Good for speed jigging. Comes with 2 assist hooks. So the FK Jig had 1 assist hook. This does have 2 assist hooks with the mono and the Kevlar sleeve off of it. This is going to be available in 6 different colors. You see this nice chrome color here. And then 5 sizes. So anywhere from 80 gram to 200 gram, you can get this new jig. And then these are going to be available sometime in November. And as far as price point, you're looking at $12.99 to $19.99. But another nice jig, speed jig. You could use this with our standard Harrier rods or our Harrier X rods. Going to be a great jig for, you know, the East Coast Florida market all the way out to the West Coast here in California.
Well, those are all really, really great jigs for all different types of applications. There's some freshwater applications, some salt waters, and all that stuff. But after going through all the jigs here, now I'm going to kind of go into some of the accessories, and that's kind of the fun part of my job. Over and above working on rods and reels, I get the opportunity to do some stuff with the bags and accessories. So this year we're introducing some new stuff. We're going to start off right here. As you guys know, more and more on the saltwater side, the electric reel market's becoming bigger and bigger for us. And these reels are fairly expensive. They're from $6.99 to $17.99. So this year, what we decided to do is actually come up with an electric reel cover. We do 2 sizes. We do a medium and a large. So the medium is going to go from a like 500 size to an 800, and then the large is going to be from a 1000 to like a 1200 size. But what makes this thing great is that we use our isinglass, so you can actually see through. It's marine grade, so it's not going to get yellow. It's not going to crack on you. It's a neoprene cover that wraps around the reel. It actually goes underneath the rod, so ideally you can actually keep this all wrapped together to protect your investment. A couple of the other cool features that we did when we designed this is that we actually made it cord through. So the cord actually, sorry, it's on this side. The cord actually, when you have the cover on, you just have to wrap this over. The cord goes through it, and what that ends up doing is it allows you to leave everything attached to your rod and your setup. And when it's all attached to the rod and setup, say you're fishing swordfish, you got a lot of different lines and stuff out, and your rig's all ready to go. Actually, right here, right through the level line, you can actually, your line will go right through there. So you can keep everything all wrapped together. You could put it in the well of your boat. You could put it in your salon, whatever you want to do. It's going to protect your investments. That's, you know, $1,700. But this is a new electric reel cover by Daiwa. And like I said, we do them in a medium and a large for Daiwa when you help you out with your electric reel covers. All right. The other thing that we're going to talk about here is a new tackle box. And, you know, tackle boxes, trying to reinvent the wheel's tough. What we decided to do this year is I kind of looked at some of the different ways of people, you know, managing their tackle and how we can get the most out of a tackle box. So what we came up here is the new Daiwa Tackle Barn. As you can see, I'm going to close this. It actually looks kind of like a barn. It's barn shaped. Kind of looks like your grandpa's old toolbox. But what it does, it allows you to use a lot of different boxes in a small space. So we have this gull-wing system that opens up like this. It comes with two 3600 Daiwa boxes and two 3700 boxes on the one side. As you can see, there's a partition here. On the other side, it opens up just the same, just like that, and has the same thing on the other side. So it's going to come with a total of 4 37s, 2 and 2, and 4 36s, a 36, 36, and a 36 right here on those. Over and above that, what this thing also has, it's got a big shoulder strap as well. So it's real comfortable. It's all padded. A little bit of rubber here so it doesn't slide off your shoulder. We've got 8 and 10 size nylon zippers on it. So in salt water, you don't have to worry about it corrusting or getting corroded. So the zippers will always work. You got your sunglass holder here. On this side, these actually come with the bag. You got a drink holder that kind of goes in, but you just put it together like that. You can hold your drinks. You can hold your leader wheel. I'm going to spin this thing around right here. This here, you can actually put your leader wheel, say your line here or your line right here. You can put this on, wind it on. It also opens up on both sides. You've got an area here for your cell phone, your keys, even sunglasses on this side, and any extra tools here on this as well. This works great in saltwater if you got a lot of tackle. If you're a bass fisherman and you don't have a bass boat, so you're kind of the non-boater, and you want to be able to put all your tackle on the boat and keep it like right underneath the console, it's easy to get at. You can reach right up underneath here, do that. You can have your drinks on either side. It's got Velcro liver. But this is the new tackle barn. It'll arrive in late August. Price point's going to be $199, but it's something like you've never seen before. And it's really not just a big box that holds a lot of tackle. It's very, very functional. So with that being said, that's kind of all the new products that we have right now. So what we're going to do, and what we're taking questions, and I know Alex talked about this as well, is you can get on Daiwa's YouTube page and post some questions on some of the new tackles. We have a few here that the guys are going to go through right now, and I'm going to let Alex kind of lead off and kind of start the questions. And feel free to ask questions, and let's hear some, and we'll give you some responses.
Alrighty, so yeah, please ask questions. Looks like we got some questions coming in. First one is, do you have lures that would work for tuna, fishing at night or in the gray light? We definitely do. Any sort of lure that glows in the dark is going to be a little bit more beneficial, stand out a little bit. You can use any of our basic colors as well, but we make our FK jigs in an all glow model, which will be really nice. So that's this lure right here that I talked about with that nice single hook off the top. So if you're fishing night for yellowfin around the oil rigs or bluefin out here in Southern California, check out the FK jigs or SK jigs in the glow-in-the-dark colors.
All right, we have a line question on the Samurai. What is the DPLS? Well, this is our Daiwa parallel line system. And the parallel portion is, if you look at this, and if you can see it up close, I'll get as close as I can. on this, you're going to see that it's evenly wound perfectly back and forth, almost what we call spring loaded. Now, is there a benefit to that? Yes, there is. There's a couple benefits. Number one, it allows the line to go onto your reel very easily, very smoothly, very accurately. So that's one of the benefits. Number two, what's the other benefit is that when line is wound on just like itself, it tends to get flat spots because line sitting on top of line for a long period of time, it tends to do weird stuff. So any of your high quality lines are all going to use this parallel line system. And that's going to help out when you put the line on the reel. It'll fish better. It'll feel better on the reel. It'll cast better. And all around, it's a great system. It just shows you the quality that we do with Daiwa and some of the products that we do with Daiwa. So that is what the benefit is. Benefit on that is, one, putting line on the reel, and two, once the line is on the reel, you don't get any flat spots on your fluorocarbon.
Alrighty, next question is, what is a good lure for Southern California yellowtail? Depends what time of the year. If the water's a little bit colder, those fish are usually a little bit towards the bottom. You'd want to go with one of our jigs like the Mr. Slow or the FK jigs. So if the fish are down anywhere from 80 to 150 feet, you're going to want to fish one of these heavier jigs that you can get down to the bottom quick, and you can retrieve this quick as well to the surface. If the fish are more towards the surface, say in the summer months when the water's around 70 degrees, you're going to want to fish our new Jacana jig, this casting lure. This is great for surface fishing when those fish are up chasing bait on the surface. A Sakana jig in 100 gram or 80 gram is kind of the go-to for our Southern California yellowtail.
All right. Okay. Any new freshwater lures? Great question. This was a large launch right here for our July timeframe when it came to saltwater lures. We introduced quite a few new freshwaters in January, and they've kind of been out, but some of those new freshwater lures, new Nico Machos, we do have some new colors in that that we don't have here, so we did some new colors for the Nico Macho on that. The new SC Shad, and a lot of guys, when you say freshwater, you only think of bass, but the SC Shad is kind of a smaller shad lure, works really good for bass, but also work for panfish, trout, light trolling or small jerkbait fishing. And then the other lure that we introduced, and this is kind of a reintroduction as well into the Daiwa. We had it out years ago. Due to popular demand, we decided to bring it back out, and that was our double clutch. That's actually a really cool suspending jerkbait. Very slender, big lip, probably goes down about 6 or 8 feet, but has a very cool erratic action, but it doesn't lift. It kind of stays right within the water zone there. So you got double clutch, SC Shad, and some of the new colors with Nico Macho, both any type of freshwater type of lure, any type of freshwater fish from bass to walleye to panfish. But those were the new freshwater lures. They've been out, but we didn't really introduce them too much here in July.
Alrighty, next question. The benefit to using single hooks instead of treble hooks when jigging. Great question. So you guys probably noticed on most of our speed jigs, Mr. Slow, things like that, we're offering these larger single hooks. What this does is these are going to actually be better through the water, a little bit more streamlined, so as this lure is falling, it's not going to catch water as easily. Also, when you're fishing for yellowtail, tuna, snapper, things like that, this larger hook has a larger gap than a treble hook, so you're going to get a much more positive hook set. Once you get that hook in that fish's mouth, you're going to get a deeper placement in the meat of the mouth, and then you're also not going to have as much twist. So in treble hooks, a lot of them can twist out during the fight. These single hooks won't twist out. You have complete freedom with the lure. So all around, the single hooks for the speed jigging, the Mr. Slow jigs, that's definitely the way to go, and why you see the single hooks on those lures.
All right, we've got a question from Jared. Is there an option on Tackle Barn for jig storage? Yeah, actually, there is. We've got numerous different types of storage opportunities through our line, through our accessories. Now, this actually comes, like I was showing, with the 360 and 370 boxes. But we do a couple different jig storage. We have this box here, which is a 360 in size. It'll fit right inside there like that. We actually have a couple different sizes you can do that there. We also make, what we have is our jig box. That's about this wide by this, that will fit right in here. So there's a lot of different options. What the main thing about the Tackle Barn is that it's a different way of organizing your tackle. So you can fit a lot of different things. And I may not have mentioned this when I was going through this, is that, like I said, it comes with 4 and 4, but you can fit 2 more on each side, either 360s or 370s. It'll still close. It won't close quite as tight, but it'll still, close on that. So there's a lot of opportunities for jig storage on this. And if you look on our website or in our catalogs, pretty much anything we do, we could try and get it to all fit in there. But right now, you can use some different storage boxes. This is a long stick bait box we're using for saltwater lures, or you can use one of our jig bags that'll actually fit on either side of this. So yeah, great question though. Thanks, Jared.
Alrighty, next question is about the Jacana Jig. They want to know, why is the line tie on the Jacana Jig horizontal? So Mark talked about that briefly. We'll get a little bit more in depth here. So we have the split ring attached to the line tie here. The line tie is horizontal. What that does is it gives the lure much more of a side-to-side action. It's going to give it a unique swimming action compared to any lure on the market right now. You can actually wind these slow, and they have a nice slow kicking action, or you can burn these through the water super fast. They're not going to roll or flip or anything through the water. So very versatile with that horizontal line tie. Gives it a unique kicking action like no other lure.
Okay, we have somebody asking from the Midwest, I would assume, would Sakana jigs work for walleye? Well, obviously you're not going to want to use one that's quite this heavy, like the 130. I would probably start walleye somewhere between 20 or 30 feet and go to this 20 size right here. You can see, take a look at that. Smaller hooks, easier to get a hook set with a little bit lighter rod. But yeah, 100%. Now, granted, we introduce these things as saltwater, but there is species that it'll work for. Walleye, if you're vertical jigging, this will fish vertically as well. You can swim it up the water column, you can drop it, or you can cast, let it sink, cast and retrieve it. So yeah, it will definitely work for walleye. In the Great Lakes, you can use it for salmon, you can use it for lake trout, all that kind of stuff. So yes, I would start with the 20 size, maybe go to a 30 or 40 size, somewhere in that size. But yep, 100% they'll work for walleye.
Alrighty, questions are still coming in. Do the lures hold up well to paint chipping? So the lures are going to be very durable. Unfortunately, nothing's kind of fail-proof, but the paint on this is a high-quality paint, so you're not going to have a lot of paint chipping on these lures. So both the hooks and the paint is going to be very durable paint. And like I said, the hooks are also very durable. So yeah, you can fish this for toothy critters, snapper, tuna, kingfish, anything like that. And the paint's going to hold up pretty well on these lures.
All right, we got another one here. What's the best lure for amberjack, and which rod and reel? Well, that becomes a personal preference. Depending, amberjack tend to live on the reefs, not everywhere, but a lot of guys catch the big ones on the reefs. And sometimes, depending on the conditions, you want something to get down really, really fast. The reef's usually fairly small, it could be a wreck or something of that nature. And when you're drifting by, you want something to go down really quick. So, you could possibly go with one of these SL jigs, or you can go with one of these jigs right here. This is actually the FK Jig. That'll go down fairly fast. This fall killer goes down quick. So if you are drifting, you need to get it down to that reef, come up that reef, and then come back, get on the other side of it. So anything that's going to get down fast where you wanted to bite, and then work it up that water column. Now, if those fish are kind of a little bit more spread out, or they're up above the reef, definitely here, Mr. Slow. As it falls down a little bit slower, you've got a wider, longer reef. This gives the opportunity of getting bit maybe a little bit better on the drop with your jig. Now, as far as the rods, if they're big fish, the new Harrier X, it is a great rod for that. You've got a lot of backbone. You can do a 5/8 extra heavy or XXH and put the wood to them. But if you want to fish something a little bit more parabolic, that you're going to be fishing all day, it's a little bit more comfortable. Our Harrier Slow Pitch is a great rod for that. So it kind of depends on what your technique you want to target these fish. What's nice is that there are so many options right now. And on the reels, my suggestion, we do make a special jig reel in the lever drags, the new Saltiga 30N, which is kind of a narrow Saltiga lever drag. It's designed for jigging. I like star drags. You could use one of the star drags. One of 35 is another good one as well. But also on the spinning reels, you can go with one of our BG MQs. We introduced that on Wednesday. That'll work good too. So it depends on what your technique you want, what you're looking to do, but it gives you a lot of options on how you want to fish this. But any of these jigs work good. You just kind of have to match your line, your lure, and what the bottom structure is all like.
Alrighty, next question is about the tackle barn, this bad boy right here. Will the zippers hold up? That's a great question. The zippers are going to be very durable. A lot of other tackle management systems use a metal zipper. This is actually a plastic zipper, so it's not going to rust or corrode. So they're going to remain nice and free for both saltwater and freshwater environments. We get very few of these back. We have, a wide range of accessories, and we're using the same zippers on all of them. Nice, high-quality zippers. So, yeah, you're not going to have any issues with these zippers in both fresh or saltwater. And then we also have a follow-up question: is the tackle barn waterproof? So it's not going to be waterproof. It is water-resistant. It does come with a rain guard here on the side to actually cover it up. So if you're on a sport boat or any conditions where you're experiencing rain or high moisture, you can actually cover this up with the rain guard that is included to keep that moisture out of your tackle. So not waterproof, but definitely water resistant to a high level. Something we wanted to add in such a nice high-end bag to keep your tackle dry.
All right, best jigs to match for the Harrier X rods. So with that being said, kind of just as I got out into the last question, it kind of depends on what you're fishing and the grade and size of your fish. What's nice about the Harrier X rods is that they are a lot stiffer than our current Harrier rod or our Harrier slow pitch. So we do rods from a medium up to a double XH. So there's a lot of power, a lot of stiffness. So when you want a rod that's a little bit stiffer, you can go to a bigger jig. You can go to a 200 gram all the way up here, like in the Mr. Slow, a 260. It all depends on how the fish are feeding, on what jig's going to be best. And like I explained in the last conversation, we we're talking about Amberjack, it kind of depends on the bottom that you're fishing and how the fish are reacting. So my suggestion with that is one of the FK jigs or Mr. Slow. It's going to work really well. Some of the lighter actions, maybe you want to hear one of these SL jigs. That'll work out really, really well too. So that's kind of my thought on what the best rod's going to be. The stiffer rods are going to allow you to fish those heavier lures. That also, too, the stiffer rod, when you're using bigger, heavier hooks, will help you get better hook penetration.
Alrighty, another question coming in. What is the ideal use for the different jigs? So the SL versus the SK and our FK and Mr. Slow. So we do have a wide variety of jigs, as you guys can see now. The main difference between the jigs is going to be the quickness of which that lure falls through the water. So Mr. Slow is going to fall a lot slower through the water versus an FK jig, or even this SL jig is going to fall a lot quicker through the water column. So if you need to get to the bottom quick, where you want to retrieve quickly back up through the water column, you're going to be using the SL jig or the FK jig. If you're referring to a lure where you want to get most of your bites on the sink, or retrieving at a slow rate, you're going to want to use the Mr. Slow. So that's kind of the difference between our Mr. Slow and then the FK and the SL jig would be the rate at which the lure falls, and then also the rate at which you want to retrieve that lure back through the water column.
All right, we have another one here. What size Sakana jig would work well for mooching for salmon? Okay, well, if you're kind of like I would consider mooching or vertical jigging for salmon, that's going to be depending on how deep the fish are, where they're located, and actually what bait they're feeding on. So number one thing is match the hatch if you can. So if you know what the size bait they're using on, if they're eating big bait, obviously a bigger jig. If they're eating small stuff like this, maybe a smaller jig or something in between. Now, that all depends on how deep they are. If they're just below the surface, you can get away with the lighter lures. If they're down deeper, the lighter lures aren't going to work as well. So you're going to have to go heavier. So you're going to have to depend on wind conditions. What also is going to be tied on wind is current. So wind and current and direction, and where your lure is actually going to be at the right depth. So it kind of depends on your conditions there. Also, another thing is what size braided line that you're using, if you are using braid. The thinner diameter is going to allow a smaller lure to go down deeper. The thicker is going to not allow it to go down as much. And that's a lot of it due to the diameter of the braid. So there's a lot of factors that, you know, you kind of have to take back in your own memory of how you used to catch fish or with your guide making suggestions. But all these lures will work really well. The Econo Jig, like I said, matching the hatch, it's great for that. It's great for casting. And it also works real good for vertical jigging.
Alrighty, looks like we're going to take one more question here. What makes Samurai Fluorocarbon different than our J Fluoro leader material? So we have our J Fluoro leader, and then we're introducing the new J Fluoro Samurai. There are a lot of differences between the two. This is going to be smaller diameters, so 2 through 25 pound, versus our J Fluoro leader is available in 2 pound all the way up to 80 pound. So it's going to be more of a leader material. This is going to be more of a main line. On the J Fluoro Samurai, the 2 through 12 pound is going to be a little bit stiffer, which is good for knot tying. And then the larger sizes up to 25 pound is going to be a little bit softer. So again, better for knot tying and better for casting. This also comes in a couple different spool lengths, 220 yards and 1,000 yards, versus the leader material comes in 50 yards and 100 yards. So those are kind of the main differences. You can have your Samurai Fluorocarbon for the mainline applications, the freshwater inshore market, and then we have our leader material from 2 pound to 80 pound, which kind of covers your whole gamut of leader material.
All right. Thank you, Alex. With all that stuff being said, first want to start off by saying very, very much thank you for all your questions. We definitely appreciate it. It's been a great 3 days of going through all these new products, talking to you guys, answering your questions on that. We've had a great day today. We've got some good questions. You can see what the array of products that we've done the last 3 days, and it's been wonderful. I want to say, guys, and I'll bring up Alex here in a second, but if you want to see any more of these products, don't forget about our website. He'll go through that. But if you need to get anything or order anything, check with your local dealers. A lot of these guys and a lot of these dealers we've seen are all pre-ordering products right now. So reach out to your local dealers, pre-order your products. Some of them, as we said, are coming this month. Some of them are already in stock. Other will be more towards the fall, but you know, take an opportunity, look at the video to find out when they're going to be there, and make sure you pre-order. But myself, Mark Mills, on behalf of Daiwa, I want to say thank you very much. On my end, Alex, I'll let you kind of sign it off and say what you need to say.
Sure. Like you said, thanks again, guys. If you guys have any questions about any specific products that we launched recently, you can check them out on the Daiwa productshowcase.com page or on our Daiwa USA Facebook, Instagram. We also have a Twitter. With that being said, we'll sign off here today, and thank you guys very much.